I would like to show a game from this book, Master Your Chess with Judit Polgar. It's really a great book, especially because the text is big enough, diagrams are colorful, there are notes, beautiful annotation. Games are not too long. It's really great to watch the games on this. So this is game 7, Scandinavian Defense, Bassem Amin versus Gulom Salem. It was played in Abu Dhabi in 2010. So e4, d5, this is the Scandinavian defense, okay? E takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen d6. Obviously there are three possibilities, queen a5, queen d8, but generally queen d6 is the classical. The other way to deal with the Scandinavian defense, and this is not in the book, but I'm just telling you, after this, if you are black, you want a spicy game, you generally play knight f6, for which there is a book by a grandmaster whose name is Merdon, I think. But in this game, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen d6, d4, c6 to avoid, knight f3, knight f6, and then there is this move, knight e5. It's a beautiful move. It's really a beautiful move, and it's kind of dangerous, very dangerous. Because you must ask yourself why White played it. Well, White played it because he wants to play the bishop here. Okay, g6, very interesting move. It's a new interpretation in a sense of the Scandinavian, because he wants to put the bishop here instead of wasting time moving this, right? Here there is a note from Judit Polgar. The Scandinavian defense can lead to problematic positions for black early on if one does not know the theory well. The exposed queen can often be utilized by white's minor pieces to grab a few tempi to accelerate development. How should white aim to exploit the vulnerability of the black queen? Well, like I just said, bishop f4. Because you see, now you can play this, and it's a problem, right? So, a very logical and natural developing move that introduces the unpleasant threat of knight takes g6, like I just said. It's great. Knight h5. Black is trying to deal with a threat, but this comes at a cost. The knight is misplaced on h5, and eventually it will have to return to f6. This means that black is going to spend far more time to complete his development. What should white do now about the hanging bishop? Hanging bishop. So eventually pause the video, because this is the reason why I like to show you games. Partly because I can review the book, but partly because I think it's a very useful exercise for the person watching the video. Bishop e3, a great move. The bishop covers the central d4 pawn and avoids the very much unwanted knight for bishop trade. In such cases, people often think that white has lost the tempo, but actually the opposite is true, since black's tempo move places the knight on a very bad square. He will have to play yet another move with it to put it on a meaningful square. Knight d7. Black is trying to do the right thing. He develops his piece and at the same time challenges white's central knight on e5. How should we react? I didn't know that we became white. But if you were white, what would you play in this position? Knight, bishop e2. As always, the preferred answer is development. This clever move disallows the capture on e5 twice, and at the same time challenges the misplaced knight on h5. 9 bishop knight takes d7 is very bad because obviously it helps, no? But there is also another possibility. White could have played this, okay? This is another possibility. So what did black play? Knight h f6. This is the proof that our double bishop move, bishop f4 and bishop e3, was in fact a gain of a tempo, as the black knight has done a longer journey with knight f6, h5, f6. It is important to take notice of the fact that we are already way ahead in development, 4 pieces out, and in central control too. In such cases, aggression is almost always the best advisor. So now white plays again bishop f4. Ironically, the bishop also extends his journey, but again, what a difference. The threat of 11 knight takes g6 has been renewed, and there is no good way to deal with it, because practically now you cannot play this, otherwise this will take. So now this is a really good position, right? Queen b4. Black errs under the pressure, a typical occurrence. The queen is now running out of squares rapidly. How can we tighten the grip? So what would you play here to tighten the grip if you were white? Knight c4. A very effective move that covers many important squares in the vicinity of the black royalty. The simple 12a3 is threatened, with dire consequences, because now it's keeping this. Knight d5. Black is trying to utilize the pin on the c3 knight, but again, the general rule is that the side that is behind in development should not be able to create meaningful threats, and this is certainly the case here. How should we punish the wayward black queen? How would you punish the black queen? Well, here it's kind of simple, because this is attacking this, not only attacking this. So what do? You cannot leave it there, right? And so the answer is bishop d2. And the trap is shut. Black can't avoid losing material, a particularly educational game to model the dangers of bringing the queen out too soon and neglecting development. After knight takes c3, bishop takes c3, queen b5, and knight d6, black loses the queen, and the game is over. I hope you enjoyed this game. Of course, this book is full of beautiful games. If you want to see more, let me know, and I will be very happy to show them on the board. Thank you.